I grew up in gun culture. My family, they're not hunters.
They're gatherers.
No, right, right. We're more gatherers. We like berries and whatever we can get off a tree.
You're listening to Premeditated Opinions because, yes, we thought about it and then we said it anyway. I'm Pamela.
And I'm Josh, and we are just two people who somehow share a brain and decided to weaponize our brains with microphones.
Each week, we unpack the chaos from politics and religion to petty internet fights and existential dread, like it's our unpaid job.
We are not experts. We are just way too confident. So with all that being said, let's get started. So you texted me this morning in a group thread that we're a part of, and you had quite the experience in the carpool line this morning. Why don't you share with the ladies and gentlemen what situation you were in specifically?
All right, look, I try not to complain about carpool line. I try not to complain at all. I am failing at that wonderfully. But carpool this year, I'm like, what has happened to y'all? Mm-hmm. I mean, I know some of y'all done this before.
Right.
I'm willing to give grace to the kindergarten moms and dads.
Right.
This year's on another level. I'm like, y'all even know how to drive? Like, have we just lost all hope?
Right. Well, and you've heard me say this before. There's absolutely nothing that brings out the worst in me quite like a carpool line. I don't know. It seems to bring out the worst in everybody. Mm-hmm. And then it creates a situation where all of us are on a deadline. Because we're all just trying to get our freaking kids to school like responsible adults.
Well, and some people have deadlines. They got to get to work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they don't have leisure time to wait for 40 minutes in the carpool line. And it should not, like, our kids have 30 minutes from the time that the doors open to the time the bell rings.
Mm-hmm. Same.
And I got my daughter in school right before, but if I had waited like I was supposed to, listen, I cut some corners because I was frustrated. But if I had waited in that line, she'd have been late.
Right.
And because when I pulled back out, there was still a line of cars, and I'm like, what are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing here? So what had happened was, so I go to drop my son off first. So his school starts at like 7:50. Mm-hmm. My daughter's doesn't start till 8:30. So we get there, we're in line, and it's, let's see, we left at, we were running late because, of course, it's a week and a half. We've already lost our hoodie, our water bottle, and our lunchbox.
The new Converse one? The new Converse hoodie? Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's crying, and I have no mercy. Mm. I'm like, listen, you've got to learn some responsibility. So we're already running behind. Yeah. So it's raining. Mm-hmm. So that automatically just screws everything up. Mm-hmm. And so I expected a little bit of things were going to be moving a little bit slower.
Sure.
This was ridiculous. So our school has 2 lanes to pull in, and everybody likes to pull into the right lane because that gets you closer to the door. Mm-hmm. The left lane, though, will also get you close to the door. You just have to merge into the right lane. Right. And people just don't want to pull into this lane and have to merge and all. And I'm like, I ain't got time. So I pull into the left lane, and as I'm getting closer, I'm seeing people are only going, they're not even pulling all the way up. Mm. They're only pulling up like 3 car lengths. They are then turning. There's a little bit of a emergency lane there. Yeah. And you've got like 3 people just kind of pulling off into this lane, getting out of their car, getting around, helping their kids out with umbrellas, walking them to the door. I'm like, we ain't got time for this.
Right. Yeah.
So and
also they're 10. They'll be fine.
Well, yeah. I'm like, yeah, it's raining. It's mostly covered. Right. Okay. Come on. Your kids ain't that precious. So instead of merging into the lane, I just go straight because there is technically another lane. I just go straight and pull in where I'm supposed to go.
Right.
And tell my son, sorry about your luck.
Right.
Maybe you'll remember your hoodie. And he got out. And then finally people behind me started following suit. Because I'm like, I am not waiting for these 3 precious children to get out and then the next 3 precious children to get out. Like, we ain't precious in this family.
Right.
So I had that. Well, by the time I finally got through that lane and back home, I was already late to pick up my daughter to take her to school, which I knew, again, raining,
right,
all that. Like, we're going to be dealing with something similar. And it was the same damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Again, 2 lanes to pull in. Everybody's trying to get into the right lane. So I'm in the turn lane to turn left into the school. And I look and just pull into oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
Luckily, nobody's coming because I'm like, I ain't got time.
Right.
I ain't got time. I ain't got patience. This is dumb.
Right.
So we finally get into the parking lot. I'm the first one in this lane.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, she had 5 extra steps to take from the second lane, from the first lane. And I dropped her off and I was in and out both times. And I'm like, what are we doing here?
Right.
Why am I the only one doing this?
Right.
And I wasn't doing anything I wasn't supposed to be doing either. It's just
Well, like for me with our setup, we do only have a single lane, and because of where the crosswalks happen, the whole carpool line ends up getting stopped.
Don't get me started on crosswalks.
Oh man.
But go ahead.
So the crossing guard lady is sweet enough, and I know she's got a tough job, and she's trying to wrangle a lot of things. She is, and because of just the setup within the neighborhood and all of this, she's kind of out there just doing her best to not get kids killed. And she's doing it well.
Yeah.
And actually, one of my favorite things is when she is signaling stop and someone tries to pass her. She will go up and like bang on your car. She will hit your car with her stop sign. It's hilarious. When you're in the carpool line, we're basically in a neighborhood, and it's an older neighborhood where the streets aren't very wide at all. And so if you're in the carpool line, you have to pull right up next to the curb and kind of inch along the curb until you get up to the area where you can sort of pull in the driveway and drop off. And there's only 1 lane to do all of this. Okay. We do not have a second lane option.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
My thing is we have an unutilized second lane
Yes.
for no reason.
Yes. Well, I try and be a responsible, reasonable adult. And as we are making our way through the neighborhood, there's several houses and streets that you kind of pass as you're inching your way through the carpool line. And I try to not block people's driveways. I try to not block streets because I'm not a jerk. And so as a result, every now and again, there is a gap between me and the person in front of me. And I swear to God, 80% of the time, someone will just swoop in where I have left a gap so I'm not blocking a street. Someone will just jump right in that gap. And so this was happening like the last 2 years constantly. Well, so our kids' meet the teacher night was a couple weeks ago. It was a few days before school started. And so I get there plenty early, and I got a real parking spot. There's not a lot of them, but there are real parking spots at this elementary school. And so I managed to snag one. And this woman pulls in and literally parks right behind me. She blocks me in. And I don't know if it was the mood I was in. I don't know if it was just the repetitiveness of this kind of problem over the last couple of years.
The entitlement.
Like, I walked up to this car and was just like, do you think you're more important than all the other people who are parked here? And she's like, well, I don't want to park way back on the street. I couldn't get here any earlier. I was like, well,
sorry about your
tough luck, man. Like, all these people got here early, and now you're just jumping in to a space that is blocking in not just my truck, but like 2 other cars. And I was like, why do you feel like this is something that you can do? Why do you? And so I have this whole like altercation with this woman who is still sitting in her car. And so I get pretty fussy, but also it's meet the teacher and it's hot outside and I want to go inside. And so I just start walking away.
If you're like me, and I know you are, you don't even want to be in there in the first place.
I really don't. But I'm trying to do the responsible grown-up parent thing. And so my kids are with me and are witness to all of this. So I get
They just slowly start getting back in the car. They're just like, oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know this man. But we get inside the school, and I'm doing the meet the teacher thing and walking around and finding their classes, blah blah blah. And honestly, it's going well. Like I'm meeting teachers. I'm really enjoying these people I'm meeting, and the vibes were good. Well, this parent pulls me aside as we're walking out of one of my son's classrooms, and he goes, "Man, thank you so much for talking to that lady." He goes, "I see that same lady doing that all the time, and she's always cutting in line and blah blah blah." And I was like, "I promise I'm a nice guy, but I've just had enough of that garbage." And I don't know what it is about carpool lines, especially this season of the year. They're so bad right when school starts. We have these 10 weeks of summer, and everyone forgets entirely how to do this.
And it's not just some. It's like
Right.
all.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's only X% of kindergartners or
Right.
new students to this school. Like
Yeah.
the rest of y'all done this before.
Right.
Like it ain't changed.
No.
I don't know what's going on. So funny enough that you say that. So I try. We have a group of teachers or faculty that wait by the carpool
Yeah.
line to kind of help facilitate. My problem with that is in my son's school, it's social hour for the teachers. And I'm like, look, I'm trying to keep in mind they got a million things that they're responsible for, that they shouldn't be responsible for. They're underpaid, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But I'm like, don't be out there if you're not going to help. We have students having trouble opening the doors or closing the doors or getting in it. Like, if they would just focus on helping kids in and out of the car, like back home, teachers did that. Like, they would open the doors for the kids. Like, and helped them, get into the building and keep the line moving. And these teachers, I'm like, this is not your social hour. Like, be out here or don't, because you're just pissing me off at this point. Like, just hanging out. But you mentioned altercation. I almost had one with the new security officer.
Oh, fun. Yes. Let's hear about that.
So last week, let me think about this. Last week, I was picking up my son. So the first week of school, I've gotten in this real bad habit. I drop both kids off in the morning and I pick both kids up in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
I will never do that again. So it was Friday, and we had split the responsibility. So I was picking up my son, and then my husband was supposed to be picking up my daughter. My kids go to different schools, if that hasn't been clear yet. And I had called my husband to make sure he was going to be able to get off work and pick her up on time and all of that. He didn't answer. He was at work. Okay. It just so happens that when he called me back, I was pulling into the left lane of the entrance, doing things correctly. Actually, it's a little bit different in the afternoon, but I digress. So, but he called me as I was pulling into the drive, and I'm on speakerphone. I'm holding it up. I'm on speakerphone. I'm paying attention, and the SEO officer calls me out for being on my phone. And I rolled my window down, and I was like, "Are you going to go pick up my daughter?" I said, "Because I'm on the phone right now making sure she's going to get picked up." Yeah. And he's like, "We need to be off our cell phones in the line." And I'm like, "Listen, I ain't sitting here scrolling social media. I ain't in here not paying attention. I ain't one of these parents that ain't paying a lick of attention and not doing what I'm supposed to be doing."
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't have been on my phone. I know you're not supposed to be on your phones and the school zones or whatever, but I'm literally just making sure, because again, it's time sensitive. We only have so much time to pick her up. And it's not my fault that he just happened to call at an inconvenient time.
Right.
I'm like, next time I'll text.
Right, exactly. I'll stare at my phone and not look up at all and take out a couple second graders. We have plenty of them.
Yeah, so pick your battles, sir. I'm like, it's been a week and a half, and I'm already probably on somebody's list.
I have cars that I have memorized.
Yes.
That
I have literally asked before. There was some lady, I remember it was a Kia Telluride. I don't know what it is about Kia Tellurides. Y'all love just riding up people's butts. Every day she would, and I found out that she worked at the elementary school. And so one day I dropped my son off and I rolled the window down. I'm like, who drives that car? And they're like, is everything okay? And I'm like, who drives that car?
Yeah.
And they would not tell me.
Yeah.
But later on, I managed to get it out of my son. I was like, hey, do you know who that lady is? He's like, oh yeah, I think she's the art teacher or something. I was like, So the next whatever event we had to be at the school, you best believe I walked past her door.
Yeah.
Like, ma'am.
Throwing shade. My kids are in the same building. I don't have to deal with the multiple pickup and drop off like Pamela does. But that's only for this year, and it's going to change after this year. So I actually feel like their school right now does a pretty great job of managing all of the logistics of getting kids in and out of the building. I don't know that they have an opportunity to do it much better because of the location of the school and things like that. And the faculty as staff is actually helpful, which is good. But when you're dealing with other parents who are convinced of their own importance, there's going to be anger and weeping and gnashing of teeth. Like it goes biblical every time because we have gotten in our heads that our children are the most precious, that everything that they do is perfect and blessed. So I understand that the world has been very cruel to students with school violence and things like that. It's just a different place than it was even when you and I were in school. And I'm ready to acknowledge that. That's fine. My kids had their first scheduled lockdown drill a couple days ago.
Ooh. For this year?
For this year.
Okay.
For this year. And
the fact that I even have to ask that question is ridiculous.
Right. Well, and the fact that lockdown drills have to exist at all is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But when I was hearing about it after they got in the car, I got an email from the school ahead of time, and they told all the parents, like, just FYI, we had a scheduled lockdown drill today. If your students talk about it, it was not a real threat. This was just a drill. And they were very clear in their communication, which I appreciated. Then we got in the car, and my daughter starts talking about how fun she thought it was and how they kind of gamified a lot of it. And I just can't decide where I stand on this, to be perfectly honest. Like, I don't want them to exist in the first place because we can't get our stuff together enough from a legislation standpoint to actually pass meaningful gun control. Instead of doing that and making this the grown-ups problem, we've decided to make it elementary school kids' problem. Like we're going to put the burden of response on my 9 and 11-year-old. Are you out of your mind? Like,
oh, we have so many opinions on this.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not even. I grew up in gun culture. My family, they're not hunters.
They're gatherers.
Right. We're more gatherers. We like berries and whatever we can get off of trees. But my family would have not made it in the hunter-gatherer scene, by the way. Like, it's really a good thing that we were born in the eras that we were born. My dad is a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant man, and I have zero confidence in his ability to feed himself. But so I grew up around gun culture. I grew up around, the safe handling of firearms. I've been to gun ranges. I get that culture. I get the Second Amendment appeal and all of this. At the same time, we have just lost the plot entirely as far as how we're letting all of these things trickle into our school systems, and now it's in the faces of our kids. So my daughter was talking about how she thought it was so fun and it was this game and blah, blah, blah. Whereas my son was way more aware of what was going on, took it really seriously, and I found out actually that his 6th grade teacher had actually been on campus during a real lockdown a few years ago, not at the school that he currently attends. But he had been actually on site when someone armed was in the building, and there were no casualties, but it was a real situation. I have so much disappointment in how we have approached a lot of these school-centered problems.
Mhm.
And at the same time, I feel like it's sort of fallen out of our conversations. Like it's not a legislative priority anymore. We're too concerned about
Oh, yeah, we're too
passing.
distracted.
Right,
We're
yeah.
distracted by literally everything else.
Yeah. And I've gotten to this place where I really hate it. I hate that we're putting this burden of responsibility on, kids who haven't even hit puberty yet. And we've just lost so much of the plot around whose responsibility this is. And I'm just desperately ready for that to change. And so I'm not trying to take us on a dark turn or anything like that. I couldn't. That's actually been on my mind for a few days, and I just hate the existence of all of that, and
Yep.
I don't know exactly how to change it, other than voting. but even then, in the state of Texas, that just feels like it's not pointless, but it sure feels that way
It
sometimes.
feels fruitless.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
But in the meantime, we're doing a great job of gerrymandering the crap out of our
Right.
legislative districts and stuff like that. But
Well, now that
anyway.
you bring this up, I just realized that my daughter is now the age I was when I went through my first bomb threat.
Whoa.
So I remember in middle school, so my daughter's in 7th grade,
Mhm.
and this was prior to Columbine,
Okay.
but there were still like bomb threats being called in at that
Yeah.
time, because I remember my middle school received a bomb threat, and we started having drills where they would actually evacuate the school, and we would have to walk down the street to this nearby church. Now, we got to a point almost like with your daughter
Mhm.
where when we had these drills or even threats, we'd kind of get excited about it, because that meant we got to go down to the church gym and that we played games.
Right. Yeah.
Like originally they would like evacuate us into our own gym, and then I guess they realized
We're still in the building. Right.
like, okay, the bomb must be anywhere but the gym.
Right.
So anyway, but yeah, we would go and like we'd spend hours. I
Yeah.
mean, playing all kinds of games in the gym at the church. And yeah, now my daughter's that age.
Mhm.
And she has to deal with a lot more serious,
Mhm.
acute threat, I feel.
There's a lot of fear and mistrust around what would happen legislatively, and I refuse to believe that we're incapable of finding some sort of solution. But anyhow, so I don't want to talk about that anymore because it's dark and it's weird. But
that's what we do
appreciate-
best.
Right? Yeah. But I appreciate you allowing me to vent about back to school things and carpool lanes. But you had an interesting week this week. You actually went back to Louisville for a few days.
Yeah.
Your hometown, but for a work thing. So what took you out there?
I was thinking about this morning. I am a serial conference attendee. If there is a conference, I'm going to be there, particularly in the Salesforce space. So I've been attending. So Salesforce is really known for like they've got very large corporate events. They have community events. They have community group events. So this particular one was back home in Louisville. It's called Witness Success. It's a Women in Tech conference, Salesforce conference. And it was in my hometown. So I'm like, win-win, like a conference, a Women in Tech conference, and it's back home. So I had a great time.
Great.
Got to catch up with some of my I call them my Salesforce fangirl squad.
Yeah.
So some of them were there. Some of them were speaking. It was a really good time. It was a 2-day conference, and then I had some drama trying to get back home. But yeah, it was a really good time. I attended one session that I talked to you briefly about, called laughter yoga.
Yes, which I've been so excited to hear more about and have on purpose not looked it up.
Yeah. So it is, first of all, the lady that presented it, Andrea Stratton, I believe it was her name. She was hilarious. So that just immediately, I was like, okay, this is going to be a good time.
Yeah.
But
And this was a session?
it was
Or-
a session.
Okay.
It was a session. So this particular conference, while it is a technology conference, is more soft skills, more
Okay.
kind of thought leadership and kind of motivating and inspiring. Has a lean toward women in tech and the struggles that we have as females in the technical space. And but we do also get into more technical conversations, particularly right now. The buzz is AI, even though we really tried to avoid a lot of the AI talk, which I have a whole Substack paper about. But this session was about laughter yoga. And so, you have all kinds of yoga. You've got vinyasa, you've got hot yoga, you've got meditative yoga, you've got all these different kinds. And so, and listen, I don't know all the ins and outs. She talked through it. I didn't do a whole lot of research on it just yet, but there's this thing called laughter yoga. And I knew going into it, I was like, this is going to be awkward. Like, this is going to be awkward. We're going to have to participate. This is going to be really uncomfortable. But you basically, she kind of goes into a little bit of the science of it. So you have two types of laughter. You have cognitive laughter and you have spontaneous laughter. I could be getting these terms wrong, but cognitive laughter is when, you know you're laughing or you make yourself laugh, like something's uncomfortable, or or you just, just making yourself ha. That's cognitive laughter. Spontaneous laughter is when somebody says something funny that catches you off guard and you laugh, like it's involuntary, So you start off with cognitive laughter. And you have a couple of prompts and they're pretty cute. One of them was imagine you got your electric bill and it was some ridiculous amount. And so you
I
open
can
it
imagine
and
that
all you
specifically.
can do is laugh.
Right.
Because it's so ridiculous. Like it's like an $800 electric bill. You're just like like that almost what do you call it? That maniacal.
Oh yeah.
Where it's just like
The anger laughter.
You're like that's cute. Like this is cute. GE or LG&E. That's back home. I don't know what it is here. But and you're just and then but once you start doing this in a group and then it turns into spontaneous laughter. And that's essentially what you're kind of going for. You're going for this cognitive to spontaneous laughter. And there were so many times that I was getting into spontaneous laughter, just hearing like the speaker was kind of being funny about it, so she would just have these like really outlandish laughs that would then just create spontaneous laughter. And
well, there's so many different laughs that make me laugh. Like just hearing, like even you, kind of that one, that's the one.
I'm like cognitive / spontaneous laughter.
Right. But I call it your hoot laugh because it starts off with sort of this outburst. But it's when I know I've really caught you off guard, and that's always what I'm going for with humor with anybody. It is like I want to try and catch people off guard and get really organic laughs. But at the same time, there's times where you're just around other people whose laugh all by itself just makes you laugh. Like I'm not laughing at the thing they're laughing at. I'm just laughing at them laughing.
And so she did talk about, she's like, yawns are contagious. She's like, laughter is contagious.
Yeah.
And so in this session, it was very quick. It was like maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And she had like 5 different prompts and, everybody in the room is just laughing. And I'm sure we were very loud. And I'm sure people like in the room next to us were like, the hell is going on over there? Which made us laugh even more.
Sure. Yeah.
But at the end of the session, we kind of sit down and she's just like debriefing, like, how are you feeling? What are you feeling? And like a lot of people were like, I feel reset.
Yeah.
I feel kind of like, I feel like I just did a workout, like my abs are hurting and my cheeks, and they experienced a very almost cathartic moment. And if you think about it, I know there are a lot of times when I turn to humor. I used to do this a lot when I was younger. I used to watch horror films And if I was freaked out, I would watch stand up.
Yeah.
Just to kind of like break that up and realize like and just kind of laugh again.
Mm-hmm.
Or, if I'm really like just kind of moody or blah, like
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch some stand up comedy or
Heck
I'll
yeah.
watch a funny movie. One of my favorites is Step Brothers or
Mm-hmm.
Bridesmaids, and I'll just perk right up. So there's been a lot of research done. I suggest I think laughteryoga.org is the official website.
Cool.
But there's been research done on it. And at first I was like, okay, when I first saw the session, I was like, this is like, at first it felt culty. It felt very culty. It was very, I'm like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
But there were benefits. There's benefits to laughter. There's benefits to
absolutely.
humor. And honestly, it kind of got me thinking about the fact that we need to get back to that. We need to get back to having a sense of humor. One of my favorite one thing I'm living for right now is the Gavin Newsom tweets.
Oh man.
And just that is what I live for.
Yeah.
I live for humor. I live for satire, parody, being able to laugh at yourself.
Absolutely.
To me, when you're able to like self-deprecate or laugh at yourself, or it's a great way to deal with a lot of stressful situations.
Yeah.
It's for me, the Gavin Newsom tweets are just helping me deal with everything going on in the world.
Sure.
And realizing that there's still some people in power who have a sense of humor
And a sense of humanity.
Yeah. I feel like I've always kind of taught my kids. Sometimes my son likes to feel cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you tease him or make fun of him, he gets very much in his feels. And so I've tried to teach him to laugh at himself. Mm-hmm. Stop taking yourself so seriously. Like, have fun with life. Like, you don't have to be emo. And it's a great way to honestly deal with bullies.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I feel like it really
pulls
is.
Their power.
It does. And so I think we do need to get back to it. It was a very fun session. Definitely had me thinking.
Sure, there's science to support all of that, and there's studies and all sorts of things that you can point to as to how medicinal laughter really is. But then there's really no substitute for like being in that kind of group environment and experiencing something that is sort of universally funny. Mm-hmm. And on a much smaller scale, like our families have spent a lot of time together this summer. And two things that have been very ubiquitous throughout the whole summer are Jackbox, which, if you don't know what that is, it's a Nintendo Switch game that's meant to be played in groups. And you actually, the game is hosted by the Switch, but everyone plays on their own phones or iPads or whatever connected devices. And then we have played so much Cards Against Humanity this summer. And it's fantastic. And part of why we keep reaching for it is because of how funny it is. Like I don't know if it was the first night that we played. There have been many Cards Against Humanity nights between the grown-ups. Let me be very clear. Our children have not participated in Cards Against Humanity. We're better parents than that for now. I don't remember if it's the first or second night. It might have been both for that matter. I remember literally going to bed that night and my stomach hurt. Like, we had laughed so hard for so long that my muscles literally ached. Mm-hmm. And what a great freaking night. I mean, it's just impossible to be in a bad mood. It's impossible to it's impossible to continue to take things too seriously. It really is medicinal in a lot of really cool ways. And even the Gavin Newsom tweets that you brought up, what he's really doing in that is he's making something that can feel really serious and even a little scary. He's making it silly. Mm-hmm. And I'm encouraged by the fact that something like laughter yoga, that wasn't an extracurricular. It was an available session. Mm-hmm. I love that because that's sort of centering like our own experience and, our own approach to hard things and our, even to some degree, an approach to community. Like, you guys had a community experience within this session that I'm sure is getting talked about in other places other than this podcast. Yep. And what a brilliant move on the part of the organizers to be like, no, this is going to be really helpful to the people who are here. Mm-hmm. And, maybe it's something that people will take home and benefit from and talk about more and think about more, and like all that's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
And so I love that. So any other highlights from that few days other
Yeah.
than getting delayed coming home like
Right.
crazy?
For sure. So a close friend of mine, Allison Roscoe, she presented for the first time, so that
Mm,
was exciting.
yeah.
She has an organization called Data and Donuts,
That's a great name.
coined by her neurospicy son, who's
Nice.
15. When she wanted to kind of, she was in a similar situation to me. She'd been laid off. She's a data enthusiast. She wanted to kind of branch out on her own. So she created an organization, asked her son, hey, what do I call it? He's like, well, you like data and you like donuts. So there you go. She wore this really cute donut shirt, and she had a presentation on healthy mind, healthy data, essentially. So really excited for her, journey into public speaking. Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, every session I went to was really great. We had guys there, so we have allies that go. There was a good number of male allies there. So that was encouraging.
Are you 100% sure they're not just single guys looking for like
Okay,
nerdy women?
So I mean, 100%, I don't know,
Yeah.
but no, several of them were speakers.
Yeah.
There were some vendors. Most of the people, honestly, I love that when I go to these events, I know a good majority of the people.
Yeah, that's
so
really
it's
fun.
kind of like, it's almost like a reunion for
Yeah.
me. It's almost like, hey, let's go hang out and like learn some cool stuff and nerd out on Salesforce.
Yeah.
We had a really good, so one person I really look up to in the Salesforce community is Leah McGowan Hare. She is, I believe, the SVP of the Trailblazer community.
Okay.
So she's pretty high up there. I met her officially at Texas Streamin' earlier this year.
Okay.
We talked about, I had my cowgirl boots on, so she was like, "Oh my gosh, I love those boots." And she actually remembered me
Nice.
this time. I didn't expect it. I didn't have my boots on at the time, but it was the first night, which was Tuesday. That evening they did a celebration. They always do. So Salesforce always does with these like conference events, have some sort of fun evening planned. And so this one they planned a prom night. And it was very like, you can go all out or you can wear what you wore that day, or they wanted people to be comfortable, but it was prom themed. And one of my favorite stories, Leah got up there. She's one of my favorite speakers. This woman, I think I said on my LinkedIn, like, she needs a Nobel Peace Prize in motivational speaking. But she got up there and she told us the story of her prom dress.
Oh.
So she wore a prom dress. She had a tiara. She had her prom dress. I mean, she was dressed to the nines. And her dress was her original prom dress.
Oh, wow.
So kudos to fit back in that. First of all, like, I don't even think I have mine anymore, and there ain't no way. But her brother had made her dress.
Oh, wow.
So she's
That's
like, and
cool.
in typical Curtis fashion, he was still like sewing up like the final things as I'm walking out the door. And she said that he ended up passing away 9 years later from HIV. And so that dress really meant something to her, and for her to be able to wear that dress again. I mean, it was just like, I'm like, I'm done. Like, I can go home now. Like, this is just,
no one's topping that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I went up to her after and just wanted to say hi. And she remembered me. And I was like, I didn't think you'd remember me because I didn't have my boots on. And she remembered my tattoo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She's like, oh yeah, I remember you. She's like, in those boots, and she's fabulous. So that was a really great experience. And then day 2, more sessions, more great talks, met some really great people. One lady there gave a talk. I felt really bad for her because there was only like 4 of us in the room because they had another Salesforce lady there, Gilda. She was giving a talk at the same time. So I think a lot of people were in that session. But I talked to, her name is Kalia. And when I was going through the vendors, she and I met. She had just written a book.
Oh, cool.
And so she had them available, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm giving them away in my session." But she went ahead and gave me one. I was like, "Ma'am, I need you to sign this." So it's called The Well Within. And her talk was kind of the high level of her book,
Yeah.
which was really great. Her session was basically how to thrive in crazy times and talking a lot about the current landscape and
I would like to hear her talk.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Maybe we can get her on the podcast.
Yeah. Well, that'd be fun.
Yeah, but definitely, recommend the book. But her session was really great, and she's just a cool person to get to know. And what else? So I was originally, I'm not going to go into the whole story of like my flight delay, but I was originally supposed to leave early on the second day. My flight got delayed, which kind of was a little bit of a blessing in disguise because then I got to stay through the rest of the conference. And so at the end of the conference, we had a really great closing keynote by Stephanie Herrera. She is prominent in the Salesforce community. She started what are called Salesforce Saturdays. Stephanie's based in Austin, Texas.
Okay, cool.
And so she started these Salesforce Saturdays. It's like a group event. And these caught on and went international.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. But she told her backstory of, growing up in Texas and kind of moving around and some of the struggles that she dealt with. It was very moving. But it was also the end very motivating.
Yeah.
She did a really amazing job kind of closing out the conference. And then they did another kind of celebration with karaoke.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I kind of hung out with Gilda and Allison and Andrea. And one of the CTOs of Salesforce was there doing karaoke of Sweet Caroline, which I managed to record and put on my LinkedIn as well.
As you should.
Yes.
Did you sing anything?
I sang along, but I did not go up with a mic.
Why not?
Listen. I couldn't even do, listen, okay, I'm going to be honest. I was the only one in the room who couldn't do the laughter yoga. And I should have.
Yeah.
But she gave us permission to opt out. And I was just like, I don't know if I can do this. But I ended up kind of doing it anyway when I was sitting down because you can't not laugh in a room full of people laughing.
Right. Very true.
So anyway, I don't know. I was just kind of feeling, I don't know, some type of way.
Well, and the day had shifted on you, and the plans that you had counted on that were changing in real time, and flight delays are a pain.
Yeah,
and
it created a stressful situation at home. So I was just, my head just wasn't really in it.
Sure.
But I still had a great time. Yeah, I got home late, which was fine, but I got home.
Yeah.
And then and then just kind of reflected a lot. There was a lot of good nuggets, a lot of good stuff I want to write some Substack posts about.
Nice.
I got some stuff out on my LinkedIn. I got a lot of work done yesterday, which was good.
Yeah. So if you had one chance to save the world, and your only path to saving all of humanity was an epic karaoke performance, what are you picking?
Well, that's a good question. I think because she's on my mind, I'm gonna have to go with "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift.
Okay. Would there be choreography?
Not any that anybody would want to see, but there could be.
Mine, I have a few, but if I'm singing to save the world, I'm going with "Creep" by Radiohead.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Well, that got dark.
everyone knows the bridge, and it's impossible. I can usually get whatever room I'm in to scream sing the bridge with me, and it'll heal you. Like you'll never be the same. So just recently, you and I were talking about Taylor Swift being on Jason and Travis Kelce's podcast, and I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. I do intend to. But one of the things that I've said about her for forever is I just think she's so much smarter than people give her credit for. I think she's an incredible businesswoman, and she has surrounded herself with other very intelligent people, and like she has done so many things, basically from the start of the Eras tour, which is basically the start of her world takeover, up until now, where she's announced another album. Like, she's just kind of done brilliant move after brilliant move after brilliant move. And to be perfectly honest, there's plenty of her music that I'm kind of indifferent about. Like, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some of it that I actually think is good, and there's plenty that I think is not for me.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't take away her business prowess from her. Like, she is brilliant at what she does. And for better or worse, she seems to actually be in a healthy, happy relationship with this
So I
NFL
haven't
dude.
listened to the whole podcast, but she's just down to earth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she probably goes on for about 10 minutes talking about how she makes sourdough bread. Like, I'm like, you are $1 billion superstar, but you're just like us, and she talks about some family health struggles, but then they banter and they're funny. And I think the appeal of Taylor Swift is she's one of those people like you want to be friends with, like, like you want to hang out with her, because she's just so authentic and down to earth. And I mean, she is this powerhouse, but she doesn't act like it.
She doesn't. And so I'm going to tell a story that it's not my story. So I'm a huge Stephen Colbert fan, and we can get into his contract not being renewed later. But he tells this story about the first time that he met Taylor Swift, and he was there. So he was at an event, and his daughter was with him. And at the time, his daughter was 15. And this is before the Eras tour by a handful of years. This is, I don't know, I'd guess 8 to 10 years ago. I'm not sure on the timeline, but I know that Steven was at an event with his 15-year-old daughter, and he literally passed Taylor Swift in the hallway. And he greeted Taylor as they were passing each other, and Taylor stops, and looking at his daughter, she goes, "You look so gorgeous in that dress." And he talks about how Taylor took his daughter's hand and like twirled her around and just was admonishing her with all of these compliments and calling out specific details and things. And Colbert was like, "I'll be a fan of hers till the day I die. If you're going to treat my daughter that way, then I'm a fan for life." And to me, like, so there was that instance, and then there was a huge article that came out. So I'm in the production industry. I've done a lot of live event work and video audio work, and done some concert work and things like that. Nothing nowhere near on a stadium level, but I understand how these things work. And there was an article that came out after the Eras tour was over where it came out that Taylor Swift basically provided bonuses for her entire staff, from her truck drivers to her audio video lighting technicians to her assistants to her roadies. If you were on that tour consistently, you received a substantial bonus. And I don't know what all of them were, but what was published in the article was her truck drivers. There were 6 of them, because when you have a tour that size, you have massive amounts of things to move around. Every single one of them got a check for $100,000. And I don't know how the rest of it broke. It's life-changing. I don't know how the rest of it all broke down, but in that same article, the figure I read was she bonused out over $100 million to her staff that was with her that whole time.
That's so amazing.
And I'm sorry. You're going to treat your people that well? Yeah, I'm a fan. There are all these reports from when she went to the Super Bowl about how she gave these wads of cash to her assistants and basically said, every server, every security person, every usher, you're to tip them out, because she knew that her presence at the Super Bowl was creating more work for all of these people. And so she wanted to make sure that those people were taken care of.
That's awesome.
And I just, if that's how you're going to move through life, then that's just a quality move. Like, I'm a fan of you as a human being, kind of regardless of your music, because you're treating people well. And look, there's plenty of people in my life who have no love for her at all, and that's fine. And if you're listening, I don't really care what you think. But I I really respect that kind of approach, and it makes me want her to be successful. Will I listen to her new album that's coming out in October? Probably not.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not that kind of fan, but I love kind of how she's moving through the world.
Exactly. Like I call myself a Swiftie because I am a fan of hers. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean I've heard every album, every song, every, I didn't go to the Eras tour. I didn't go to the movies to watch it. Like, but I'm still a fan.
Mhm.
And I was just sitting here thinking when you're telling these stories of these amazing things that she's done, and then we've got Dump over here tweeting, I hate Taylor Swift.
Right.
To which Gavin Newsom says, I hate Kid Rock, which, yeah.
Same.
So I feel like that just kind of tells you what kind of person we're dealing with.
Right.
Is the most powerful person in America.
Right.
Why? Like, why? It's kind of like people who say they don't like dogs.
Right.
They're not dog people. I'm
like immediately skeptical.
Immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately. It's like, how do you not? Like, I understand if like you're more of a cat person
right.
than a dog person. But
like
to say you're not a dog person.
Right. So you're not a fan of something that's going to love you unconditionally every single day.
Mm-hmm.
You need therapy. Like that's the only possible response.
Yeah.
But no, for the leader of the free world to have such big opinions on essentially
capitalized opinions,
right? Yes, yeah, not just big opinions, but shouty, all caps opinions. Like it's just a shocking waste of his time. But at the same time, like that's the pettiness that we're dealing with in our Oval Office at this point, and to get into a lot of his pop culture hot takes it requires many episodes of this podcast. But at the same time, the fact that he has any of those hot takes at all means that, maybe you don't have your eye on the ball there, buddy. Like maybe you're barking up all the wrong trees. And also you're never going to be more popular than Taylor Swift ever.
So fun fact. I have been in a Taylor Swift music video.
Oh, that's right. All right. Tell the ladies and gentlemen how this happened.
So, first of all, don't go look at the video because you're not going to see me. But I was there and I got picture proof. It was when her video for her song "You Belong with Me" was out. So we're talking like 2008 ish. She lived in Nashville, or she lived in Henderson, Tennessee, which is just north of Nashville. And her brother went to high school with my cousin. And they were filming her video for You Belong With Me. It was like a teenage concept, like high school concept. And it was at the end of the school year. And their gym was set up for prom. And so she basically went to the school and filmed a large portion of the video using their prom setup and their football field. So there's a scene in the video where she's dressed in a brunette wig. She's her alter ego. And she comes out on the football field. There's an actor there who's the quarterback. Listen, I cannot tell you how long we sat there waiting for this man to catch a ball and how many times they had to reset the set because this child, I'm like, can you go practice? Like, can we not figure this out for this kid to catch this ball? But she was dressed like a cheerleader and I'm basically in the bleachers. As part of the crowd. And it's so funny too, because, and I know you know this, but we only took up like a section of the bleachers, but they made it look like a whole full stadium.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, we basically just had to keep yelling and yelling and all of this, but nope, I was there.
Nice.
So you are in the presence of greatness. I've been within 50 feet of Taylor Swift.
Right.
Honestly, probably people in the front row of her concerts have been closer. But I was there.
Yeah.
And so that was fun.
Yeah, that's a fun highlight. It's fun to be an extra. Like there's
because I'm so extra.
I mean, I'm just saying they recruited the right person, but it's fun to be there and to kind of witness all of that and to see how long all that stuff takes, because that wasn't even her entire video.
Oh,
that
no.
was a scene.
And it went on for
much longer video.
hours. And then she had to change because she was part of the band.
Oh, yeah.
The marching band. There's a marching band scene. Well, it's in the bleachers, but yeah. I mean, it was hours because they were filming the prom set first. And then she came out and did the cheerleader scene, and then she had to come back out and do the band scene. So
That's a lot.
It was a lot. And I almost didn't go because my cousin at the time was like, oh, yeah, like we were all invited to be extras, but she wasn't really into Taylor Swift. And I was like, well, I'm going.
Right.
So I almost didn't go because she was kind of talking me out of it. And I was like, no, I'm going to go. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I fully endorse it for anyone listening. If you have a chance to be an extra, literally on anything, go do it. It's really interesting. It's really fun, and who knows, man? You know, you might wind up in something really cool. So there's a lot of in the Fort Worth area. There's some new energy around the TV and the film scene. Yeah. Well, and the Stockyards have been a shoot location for a show called Landman, which is one of Tyler Sheridan's shows. He's the guy who produced Yellowstone and the prequel for Yellowstone, and now Landman, which stars Billy Bob Thornton. And so, yeah, I mean, there's opportunities even in Texas now to kind of be involved in some cool things. But anyway, yeah, if you have a chance to go be an extra, go do it. It's a lot of fun. You'll see some really cool things. Don't try and talk to the major famous people. It's not going to happen. But go and just see, like, go and learn and be a part of it, because it's really fun. And so, yeah, we're excited to get this thing off the ground. Thank you for joining us on this journey. And yeah, we're going to be right back in your ear holes around the same time next week.
Yep. Well, that's it for Premeditated Opinions, where the thoughts were fully baked and only mildly regrettable.
And if you enjoyed today's episode, congrats on having truly excellent taste in podcasts and also opinions.
Send this to someone who needs to feel seen, dragged, or both. We'll be back next week with more unsolicited insight and emotionally responsible spiraling.
And until then, please stay hydrated and behave yourself in the comments.
But if you don't, share them with us.